I just invested $300,000 combined into 2 different stocks. You hear all the time, this is the best stock to buy. This stock is going to 10x, 20x. You have to buy it now. When in reality, no one knows if a stock's going to 10x, if it's going to go to zero. Something bad could happen overnight. A car could explode, for example. If you're in a car company, that's going to be really, really bad, and you don't know what's going to happen. However, this company is a little different. This company is probably the smartest, safest, and best investment that anyone can make in the stock market. It's up over 150% in the last year, up over 500% in the last 5 years. And if I told you you could put your money into something, 5 years, you'd 5x your money, well, that sounds like a really good investment to me. So that's what I did with my money. For those of you who are new here, my name is Michael. I'm a 21-year-old investor, entrepreneur, and full-time college student. In the last 30 days, I've made over $175,000 in one of the many investment accounts I share with you in our private group on Patreon. So if you'd like to know more about what stocks I'm buying, what stocks I'm selling in my personal investment accounts, you want exclusive access to content that I don't share on YouTube, and you want pre-releases of my podcast where I talk with another millionaire investor who's 80 years old about investing and the stock market, well then make sure to join our group using the link down below. So anyways, let's talk about what I just invested $300,000 into. And specifically, it's into 2 different stock ticker symbols. The first one is ARKK, which is ARK Innovation ETF. And the next one is ARKW, which is ARK Next Generation Internet. A lot of people have heard of these companies, heard of ARK Invest, because it's run by Cathie Woods, who is a really famous investor who has been doing very, very well for the last couple of years. She predicted Tesla's stock price, and she's a really big supporter of Tesla. They also focus on a number of other innovative companies that have performed extremely well in the last 5 years. Both of these ETFs are up about 150% in the last year and up close to 500% in the last 5 years. So there's 3 main reasons why I invested in these 2 ETFs. The first is because when I'm looking to invest, I want to have some investments that are safer, that I don't have to worry about as much, but I know are still going to perform really well. I'm not a big dividend investor because I am still 21 years old. I'm still very young, so I'm willing to take more risk. But with ARK Innovation ETFs, ARK Next Generation ETF, these perform very well. And they have combined 35 to 55 stocks in each ETF, which diversifies them a bit, takes away some of the risk. If one company does extremely bad one day, a company goes down 20%, it's not really going to affect the overall price of the ETF. So that's one of the main reasons, is because it just diversifies the risk, makes it a lot better. And on the other hand, these stocks have consistently outperformed the market, outperformed even some of the best stocks in the last year and the last 5 years. They have a great track record. So between all of that, I think it's a great stock. The second reason is because when I'm looking to invest in something or run a business or do anything, I'm always looking for someone who's smarter than me, who's better than me to help me. If I'm running a business and I don't know how to code, well, I'm going to find someone who knows how to code. If I'm investing, I know a lot about investing, but there's people who are always smarter than you, always know more about whatever you're doing. So for this, I'm essentially putting my money into an ETF where their full-time job is to make sure that every single stock in this ETF, in both of these ETFs, are going to outperform the market, and their whole job is to make sure that this ETF keeps growing and it produces a significant return for investors. Cathie Wood says that their goal is to produce a 15% return every single year, and if you look at the stock market, what people say is an average return is about 7%. So even if you made 15% a year, you would double your money in just a couple of years. And that's much better than 7% return. On top of this, they haven't produced a 15% return every year. They've done more like 50, 60% every single year each of the last 5 years. So they have a great track record. And the third reason is because when you own an ETF, you don't have to worry if something really bad happens. For example, if there's a 9/11, if the coronavirus and the pandemic happens, if there's a worldwide event that causes the stock market to crash, you need to be able to act really quickly with your investments. You need to be able to sell everything. And if you owned every single stock in ARK Innovation ETF, you would own 35 to 55 stocks. What that means is that you would have to sell each one of those individually. And that takes a long time, and even a minute, 30 seconds, that's going to lose a lot of money if there's a major catastrophe in the world. If you don't sell it right away, you're going to lose a lot of money. For example, one thing that happened with the EV stocks was the one day that they started dropping, they dropped 10, 20% in a day. And that lost people tons and tons of money just because they owned 3 separate stocks rather than, let's say, one. So for that reason, I like to own these ETFs because if something were to happen in the world where I would want to get out of the stock market, I could sell just this one ETF and it would sell all of those positions for me. It's a lot easier to get out of. I've been talking to a lot of people about these ETFs, and really most people say, why are you investing in an ETF? Why don't you just pick stocks? Stocks can perform better. And yeah, they can perform better. But even if you look at, for example, Tesla. If you look at Tesla, in the last 5 years, Tesla has done better than almost every other stock. And in the last 5 years, they're up 1,200%, which is significantly more than the ARK Innovation ETF, which is up about 500%. But the thing is even if you look at Tesla and you owned Tesla, you probably didn't have your entire portfolio, your entire net worth in Tesla. And if you did, well, that was pretty risky and you would have done better. But you probably had Tesla and a number of other stocks as well. And to have a 500% return over the last 5 years, it's probably pretty hard to find too many people who've had a portfolio where their entire portfolio is up about 500% in 5 years. So for that reason, that's why I put my money in them until I see something negative come out of the company, until I see that they're not investing in stocks I like or they're not performing well then I might change my mind. But right now, I think it's a great investment for anyone, whether you've been investing for years, you're new to investing. It's just the safest, smartest, and honestly, the best investment you can make right now. You don't have to worry about risk as much. You don't need to follow the stock market every single day and be worried. You could just put your money in here and just let it sit for a couple of years, come back, and it might have tripled, quadrupled, or even 5x from where it is right now. So anyways, that's what I just put $300,000 into at 21 years old. It's just a small portion of my portfolio. If you'd like to see more, make sure to join our private group using the link down below. Talk more about stocks and other investments I have. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget you can get 4 free stocks, each valued up to $1,600 when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.